Hello, yes, people. We are
The Yes Girls.
Thank you. Coming at ya for the second episode of season 2. That is 2 for 2 on this beautiful day. So, Akumu, what do we have in store today?
Wait, I think you forgot to say where we are. No worries, I'll do it. We are the Yes Girls coming at you from Poland. Yes, Poland.
Poland.
But hold your horses, we'll explain that in a bit. As you know, we are the Yes Girls, and we are two wanderlusters who are making it our mission to say yes to doing, being, and learning something different every 2 weeks. And we're documenting our journeys. So this podcast is a result of us saying yes to sometimes challenging, sometimes fun, sometimes entertaining, and sometimes downright outrageous experiences. So back to Poland.
Okay, I guess I have to come in now and bring some sanity to all of this. What Akumu meant to say is Poland, not the country where Krakow and Warsaw are cities, but the two-word hyphenated word, Pole and land. Sorry to disappoint anyone that thought we were going to be talking about Poland.
It's impossible to disappoint. This is super exciting.
It is.
And a little unnerving, definitely.
For you.
When we say Poland, we are not talking about a pole vault. Although I always wanted to do that sport. It's so much fun. The one where he falls on the mattress. We are also not talking about North Pole. Trust me. I love the African sun as much as the next guy. So we are talking about the best thing associated with poles. Drum rolls, please. Pole dancing. Woo! Yes, pole dancing.
In this episode, we are going back to doing something. So since episode 1, we did mixology, we've done TikTok challenges.
Which totally kicked our behinds, by the way.
Yes. And now we are saying yes to pole dancing. Well, actually, Akumu is saying yes to doing pole dancing.
True, Claire. Would you like to explain why, fortunately or unfortunately, I happen to be the star of this challenge?
Oh, yes. Like a long-term couple that needs to liven things up in the bedroom, for example, installing a pole in their bedroom or playroom, we, the Yes Girls, are shaking things up. In season 1, both of us said yes to doing, being, or learning something new for every episode, and we brought in an expert to advise and guide and rate our experiences. For season 2, only one of us is saying yes for each episode, and the other is, for all intents and purposes, the expert. So say hello to today's little expert, me.
Yes. So please, let that sink in. Claire is the expert in a show about pole dancing. And not only that, for this and every other episode of season 2, we'll invite a new yes girl or boy to join us in the tortura, the torture, which in this case was. And it was not only me saying yes or being tortured. It was you. Yes, you.
And you.
And you. And in this episode, the you that joined us in saying, joined me in saying yes, is probably one of our biggest fans. Drum rolls. That's Kate Ladash. Shout out to Kate Ladash. That's at Kate Ladash on Instagram. You can drop in her DMs. What we did was we said yes to doing pole dancing, and Claire was our teacher. And so what we got was a lot of strained muscles, complaining biceps, skin lesions, and some newfound respect for the art.
Let's not exaggerate.
That's true. You see, Claire is a renowned pole dancer.
Again, let's not exaggerate.
Claire is a renowned pole dancer. She has been doing it for a little over 3 years now.
3 years, yep.
Studying under the tutelage of
Myelin.
Shout out to Myelin. Blockland. So Myelin Blockland is a mentee, or
she is
the queen of Poles Apart. I love that. I love that name. Poles Apart Studio at Colosseum Gym at Adams Arcade. So Claire has also done very public performances of this very art. I said renowned pole dancer, didn't I? So she was meeting us with quite a lot under her belt. But before going any further into the nitty-gritties of that fateful day, let's get a bit into the facts and some info about this art form.
There's going to be a lot of exaggeration and hyperbole this episode, isn't there?
How do you say, oh, she has done some public performances, but you're not renowned? That is renowned.
It's not renowned. Renowned is like in the newspapers.
Public
Anyway,
is renowned.
I'm on Instagram, I guess.
Yes, that's renowned.
So before getting into the facts, Akumu, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about pole dancing, especially like before knowing a little more about it going into this challenge?
Strip clubs. I mean, it's Hollywood. That's what Hollywood has done to me. Like I see poles, I see pole dancing. I think strip club, first thing. Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, firstly, nothing wrong with strip clubs, stripping as a profession. But there is something wrong with Hollywood, but that's a whole different story. But I mean, boxing.
Hey, Hollywood is fine.
Boxing. Pole dancing into just one definition is downplaying it, right? It's a lot more than just that kind of gaze, the male gaze especially in this particular case. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, so here's what I found out in my little research. So pole dancing has its origins some 800 years back in none other than the birthplace of all the interesting things in this world. Guess which country? India. And I'm laughing because I have colleagues in India and I bet they also didn't know this. So pole dancing started in India. And there's something called Malakhamb, so Mallkhamb. And it's a traditional Indian sport that uses I think it's present tense, uses a wooden pole. It's typically performed by men, and they would do acrobatic and yoga inspired tricks on the pole. Chinese pole is another art form, which also borrowed from India. And it originated, and it involves performing on two poles up to 2 feet high with the performers
20 feet.
20.
Actually,
20
doing it on a 2
feet.
feet high pole would be even more impressive.
You'll take my mind to the gutter now. So 20 feet high, that's Chinese pole.
Which is very impressive.
You've seen it, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, God, I haven't seen videos.
Saxo loves America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, Romania's Got Talent.
Oh, Romanians are very good at pole dancing, right?
Yeah,
I think, right?
Eastern Europe. Pole dancing is very
Russians,
big,
all those people.
But
My God.
Chinese pole dancing, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So they perform they do climbs and inversions and leaps between the two poles. And then fast forward past pole dancing as a sideshow act in the 20th century, and you'll get to what most people associate the art with, strip clubs. So that happened in the 1980s. And in the 90s, somewhere then, pole dancing performed by women became associated with that very thing that you know. But something else also happened in the 90s. The art form came into fitness. So it became a fitness trend. And that's great because in the mid 2000s onwards, pole dancing became a fitness thing, and it began reaching its peak popularity.
So after all that, you're asking what's next. Pole dancing is now a sport, and yes, it is. So in 2003, a pole dance instructor called KT Coates launched a campaign alongside the International Pole Sports Federation, which does fantastic work. I attended a quiz organized by the International Pole Sports Federation, an online quiz. It was so fun.
Renowned pole dancer. Again, I say.
Oh dear. So yes, the campaign was to make pole dancing an Olympic sport, but that is a long road. So in 2017, the Olympic Committee awarded pole dancing special observer status, which means they officially recognize it as a sport, not to take part in the Olympics, but as an actual sport. So it didn't feature in the 2020 Olympics or 2021 Olympics in Tokyo. It still needs to fulfill the following criteria, which are all in progress. So it must be a member of the anti-doping agency, which it is. It must be a member of the GAISF.
But wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, no. It's a
You're going to
stupid...
say, how would doping help?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're taking steroids, if you're taking performance
You'd be
enhancing
stronger.
drugs to be
Okay.
stronger, have more endurance, it's a physical, like anything, right?
Oh, okay. That's true.
So it's already partially a member of the GAISF. It must have 50 national federations. It's around 20 right now.
Is there one in Kenya?
No.
Are we far
Not
from
yet. Well, we can be part
I guess
of that
Claire will be
revolution.
the one to start it. The renowned pole dancer.
So hopefully in the next, 4, 8, 12 years, Olympics obviously every 4 years, Summer Olympics, we will see pole dancing at the Olympics. So now, how did Kate and Akumu do in the pole dancing training that I did with them?
Uh-huh.
How did they do?
Wow.
How did you do?
I'll start.
What would your 3 words be to describe it?
Jesus, what would my 3 words be? Difficult.
Okay, tell us more about that.
Or 0 upper body strength. That's 4 words.
Yeah.
That's 3 words with a letter.
I'll allow it. Tell us more.
So as I mentioned, my only day of pole dancing is tied to strip clubs or trying to entice an angry boyfriend, which I never have done, but maybe soon enough. Claire, you'll teach me.
Angry boyfriend?
Yeah, you know the way Beyonce does this dance in front of the boyfriend and stuff.
Hollywood has really done strange things to you.
Yeah, so that's all I think. Anyway, so I knew nothing going in, only that Claire has a pole in her house and she's good at it. And it would be fun to learn a thing or two. That's all I went in with. Of course, I watched a few videos on YouTube. There was one I ended up watching. I watched a couple, but the one I remember particularly was a video by the Pole Body Project YouTube channel. Shout out to that channel. This is a clip of me explaining what I needed to do, or rather not do, before going for the pole dance training. So this is the day I tried pole dancing for the first time. And what I did, I checked on YouTube for, how to prepare or what to bring for your first pole dancing class. Okay, so I talked to Claire. Claire said bring as little outfit as possible, very tight, like very close fitting, not baggy. Yes. So I also checked online. And there's this YouTube channel that I got. It's called Pole Body Project, the Pole Body Project. And she has a video saying, how to prepare for your first class. And interestingly enough, I think the most interesting thing she said is don't shower before you go there, because you'll be less, so that you're going to be able to grip the pole. So yeah, I haven't showered yet. So lucky me, no showering. So sorry, Claire, or anyone else who will be in the class. I will come unshowered. Can't wait. So yeah, I didn't shower. I went unshowered, such that my skin does not stick to the pole. Something like this.
No, so it doesn't slide.
It doesn't
so
slide.
That you do stick.
But I was still sliding. Anyway, we'll get to that. I'll explain my body status at the time so that you understand how difficult it was for me. So it was just 2 months back in the gym after 12 extra kilos gained in 2020. So I had 12 extra kilos of corona weight. And then I was not very strong. I was just 2 months into gym. I do weight training. So you can imagine I was going to attempt to lift tens of kilos of corona weight using upper body strength that was still at a toddler stage. I think I was doing like 5 to 10 kilos at the time in terms of bicep training. So I certainly couldn't do pull-ups at the time. Note to self and note to you guys, I still can't do pull-ups now. Anyway, moving on. I went in with poor upper body strength. But it was nice to start with, me and Kate, feeling interestingly excited, but of course we were overdressed. I mean, my weightlifting gym clothes were covering too much of my skin, but I mean, I had to do something, right?
Yeah. So in pole dancing, just to explain, you want the more skin exposed, the better, because that's what sticks to the pole. And when you want to hold a position on the pole, you want to be able to stick to it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be naked. You don't have to be. You don't actually have to have few clothes. I know there's a fantastic pole dancer I follow on Instagram called Hijabi Luscious, who is fully covered but has special like sticky leggings, sticky clothes. And also, if you're
Wow.
good enough, you don't need to stick with your skin, but it just makes it easier, especially as a beginner. It kind of stacks the odds in your favor if you're comfortable bearing more skin.
Yeah,
That's what I'd
Claire
explain to you, like, wear
Claire
as
was
few clothes as
perfectly
possible.
perfectly underdressed. But yeah, so at least we started with. I mean, I was happy to have some fabric protecting my skin because my skin was just feeling like it was getting lesions from the pool. Anyway, we started with the warm up. I think the best thing was Claire just telling us to walk around the pool and familiarize ourselves with it. And I remember thinking, pool, please don't torture me, don't torture me. That's
were
what I kept
talking to the
saying. I was
pole.
talking to the pool. I was telling the pool, please take it easy on me. And of course, being a weightlifting gymmer, because we all think we're all fabulous, which we are, but yeah, we think we're fabulous. I thought, I can surely do this, right? It can't be too hard, can it? I mean, if Claire can do it, I can do it, right?
Thank
Wrong,
you.
wrong. So Claire showed us the slight spin. So now you have to remind me the names. There was a slight spin.
Fireman.
I think so. Was that the first one? Yeah. So Kate Ladash seemed to be getting the hang of it. Kate is a runner, right? And a swimmer. Yeah, you see, I was going in, just underprivileged. I'm not a swimmer. I'm not a runner. Anyway, that's me. So I was struggling. Either my hands were sliding too fast down for me to get anything done, or gravity was just taking the best of. Gravity was literally trying to take me down. And how can you ever do a spin if all you're doing is sliding down the pole, If you're sliding down in 1 second, there's nothing you can do in that 1 second because you're trying to hold on. So the few times I got to do the slide spins, the skin on my legs felt like it was being ripped off by the pole. This art form needs too much concentration. I had so many things to think about. I kept, thinking about my arms and how to keep them up, how to place my legs, how to spin, and how to fight with gravity. It was torture. La tortura or mateso. Have you heard of mateso?
And I don't know what you're
Mateso
talking
is
about.
torture. It's called,
okay.
I was suffering. So Claire saw mercy on me and moved on to the next move. Kate was fine. Kate seemed to be getting them pretty well. And I felt like I was the weak student in class, which I was. Then something strange happened. After we did a teaser choreography, I think you remember the first one you taught us? Some of those sexy moves, you see on TV. You see, Hollywood is good for something. So for some reason after that, I was a bit better at doing some of the moves. I think we did the chair. We did the inverted, the one where you're going inside with the knees coming up.
Yeah, like a kind of
Which one is that?
Tuck
Tucks.
spin.
Yeah, that was hard, but I think I got better after relaxing with a dance. I think it's the confidence. Yeah. And I think that happens in the gym with me too. The first the first set is usually shit. The third and fourth reps are usually amazing. So I guess my body needs to get warm before it's happy with being mistreated. So after all the bruisey legs, callous palms, and a newfound respect for Claire and pole dancing, I decided that that it was something I would probably consider exploring a lot more. So here's a clip of me and Kate after the training.
First pole lesson done. How was it? Wait, you guys have been complaining to me for an hour and now you're telling me it was awesome.
Okay, so funny enough, it got easier the longer we did it. Like, I think, at the beginning, I think we were overthinking. Yeah. And then after we danced, I think the dancing made us loosen up, right? Great.
Is this not the same with anything? The more you practice, the easier it is?
Somehow, but it's also getting used to the pole and doing things with it. I think the more we danced with this, the more we got used
in
to.
sync with
Yeah,
just
exactly.
telling yourself my arm strength is there,
Exactly.
my core strength is there, and coordinating all this was like not mathematical.
So I think if I don't explore pole dancing, you remember you asked me if I would do it again. I think I'd do it. And if not pole dancing, I'd definitely explore aerial yoga. Yeah. I think I have something about being, just upside down or just, tricking gravity in some way. So I think I need to explore that. And I believe it seems like an interesting art form that you can never be perfect at. There's always something new to learn, right? There's
Like with
always something
anything.
new to try. Yeah. So thank you, Claire, for giving me a glimpse of your world. It was truly an honor. And guys, hire Claire to train you. She's awesome and extremely patient. So that's what I'd say. What about you, Claire? Could you please tell me how it all started for you and what pole dancing means to you?
So firstly, I am not a trainer.
You're a renowned pole dancer.
I am not a renowned pole dancer. And I'll talk more about that. In fact, I think I want to give you a rating first.
Okay.
And I want to say that you both did phenomenally well, especially given that I am not an expert and I am not a pole dance trainer or teacher. I learned and continue to learn all my moves from Mylin, as you mentioned, from Poles Apart Studio. And it is a whole job, skill, and art form on its own, right? So she is the trainer and a teacher, and I'm not. So considering you had me as your teacher, I think you both did amazingly, right? You're only as good as your teacher, right?
Exactly.
So I think you both deserve a 10 out of 10 for enthusiasm, effort, and interest.
Really? Even
Yes.
even my underwear that was showing at the back.
That shows your effort. So, because those are the three main things you need with any new physical activity, right? Like, such as pole dancing. You have to go all in. And in fact, that's one of the things that I love about pole dancing, that it's one of the few times in my day or my week where I am completely engrossed in one activity and not getting distracted or sidetracked or pulling in things from other realms of my life or work or anything and trying to make connections. I mean, that's what I do with all my other activities. I try to, connect things that I know about different things. Pole dancing is just, it's on its own and it's fully engrossed. Like you mentioned, having to concentrate so hard. I struggle to do that in any other activity.
Even
so
running.
When I'm running, I'm thinking about a million different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I come up with all my ideas, and I come back from a run and I have like 10 things in my head that I want to do. I even give myself mnemonics to be able to remember the things that I want to do.
Wow.
Anyway, that's a whole other story. So I'm fully concentrated because you need to, I'm fully focused on like getting my hand or my leg or my coochie or whatever it is to do what it needs to do so that I don't fall and splat on the ground. And stay in position. So I started pole dancing just over 3 years ago. And it was actually when Saxo and I were first recently going out. And he took me to his favorite bar and nightclub called XS Millionaires, which is renowned in Nairobi.
This is the one in Baricho Road, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, it's Baricho Road. And I think it's every weekend night, there's pole dancers, both men and women, who they gyrate around.
Even men? Mm-hmm. Wow.
And there's two big poles on an elevated stage in the middle. And he's actually more impressed and interested in the men because they do more impressive kind of acrobatics on the pole. The women sometimes resort to more just like twerking.
Yeah, because the female is a sexual thing, right?
Well, in this case, unfortunately, a lot of it does go down to that. It's hypersexualized, and so they're not doing so many impressive things. I think they're capable of it, but maybe they know what their audience wants. I don't know. But the men show more true strength and acrobacy on the pole. So anyway, on this particular night, that's what it was. So I thought,
who are you looking at? The
I was
women or the
looking at
men?
all of them. I was like, I want to do that. I was like, I can do that. I'm sure I can.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't then, but I thought I could, right? Maybe I had the potential.
Mm-hmm.
So after a quick Google search when I got home, basically all the results were myelin, right? And poles apart.
Wow, good
For Nairobi pole
SEO,
dance.
Myelin.
And there's also just not, certainly at the time, that was the only place to go. And I personally think it's the best place to go for any pole dancing needs in Nairobi. So I started training twice a week, and I haven't stopped. I was very lucky that in 2019, a pole friend, and one of the most flexible people I know, Lola, she gave me a hand-me-down pole. So I installed it in my house.
Wow.
Saxo installed it in my house. But what was good was then when lockdown happened and I couldn't go to the studio, I couldn't go to Poles Apart Studio for my sessions, I could do it at home. It's not as good because the feedback you get isn't as, it's harder to see on a screen than in real life. And she can't, like Mylin can't like hold me in position, like stabilizers or training wheels. Kind of having someone spotting you is like that. So I couldn't have that, and my pole doesn't spin. My pole is also very short. But it's better than not being able to do pole at all. And it means I don't have to commute. And now that I have this work from home lifestyle, I wouldn't be going in twice a week. The road I live, the Mombasa Road, the main highway going into the city.
Right now is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's like crossing the Himalayas. So another thing that I love about pole is that it complements everything else I do in terms of running. For example, running is endurance, and it makes me very stiff and inflexible. So pole dancing helps me it's more intense than endurance, and it counteracts the stiffness by encouraging me to stretch a bit more, more toning. It's just a different form of exercise that complements my running and helps me build strength. We do build in some dancing and some flow, as we call it, like the choreography we did, where it wasn't so much about tricks or like flexibility or strength, but more the dancing.
This was more the artistic part of it.
Yeah. So that we do build in. I enjoy the variety of that. I'm not a perfectionist. To me, it's more about enjoying it, right? It's I don't do it to look good. I don't do it for anyone else. I do it because
Even for Saxo?
No, I mean he encourages me. He enjoys that I do it. He mostly enjoys that I enjoy it. But I do it for those moments when I'm on the pole and I just feel good. Even if I do the same moves over and over, or sometimes I'm not necessarily improving, but that's not what I'm doing it for. It, and everybody can do it for different reasons. So what I would say is, like, Poles Apart, the studio where I train, is a great community, and it's a part of my life. And I would encourage anyone, such as you, Akumu, to give it a try. And
I will.
And to allow pole to be whatever you want it to be. If you want to incorporate stripping into it, go for it. Right?
I actually want to.
Yeah. If you want to be sexy, do it. I can't. I'm not capable of it. If you want to build muscle and sweat your tits off, do it. I don't believe in separating out any of these things if you don't want to. They're all derivations of the same activity that is so versatile. And I'm proud to be associated with such a diverse sport that can be so sexual, that can be so freeing, that can be so sensual, but can also be damn hardcore.
I know, right? It's like two things at the same time. It's amazing.
Yeah. So whether it gives people pleasure, income, progress, or just something new, when people say, oh, it isn't stripping, I don't say that, because I have no problem being associated with stripping or sex work, consensual sex work. Because it's, I know many people who do that and are proud and fantastic, and people that I admire.
Idea for episode 3. I mean, season 3, stripping.
Yeah, maybe for you. I don't think I'd be very good at it.
I think that's like plan Z.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of things I follow on Instagram are male, specifically black men pole dancing on the New York subway, on street lamps. It's phenomenal. I mean, really check it out, get into it. if you want, if it's of interest to you, make it whatever you want it to be, and be proud of it and own it. So 10 out of 10 for Kay and Akumu.
Thank
and
you.
10 out of 10 for everybody who wants to give it a go. You can inbox me, DM me if you have any questions. You can find Poles Apart on Instagram. DM them, tell them you heard it on Yes Girls and that you want to give it a try.
That's awesome. So if you want to get started, like she said, just follow Myelin on is she on Instagram?
Poles Apart.
Poles Apart. Okay,
Find
find her
Poles
on Poles
Apart.
Apart.
It's
Her studio is in Adams Arcade, and have a look at our recommendations, personal recommendations. I think you can recommend pages and videos and tutorials, all that cool stuff on our Instagram page at Yes Girls Podcast.
Yeah, and you'll find a time lapse of the training that Kate and Akumu did, as well as some clips of me, maybe.
Yes, there's a very cool one of Claire doing pole. Can't wait.
And if you're an expert pole dancer or enthusiast, share your clips or videos with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and tag us at Yes Girls Podcast. We would love to see what all the other Yes Girls and boys are doing.
And if you want to suggest something that you think the Yes Girls should do, be, or learn for a future episode, future season, future anything, maybe not stripping, send us your ideas. If you want to share your enterprise business passion with us through one of our episodes, get in touch with us. That's at Yes Girls Podcast.
Yeah, and we also share behind the scenes photos and videos of our experiences there, so check them out, all in the name of doing, being, and learning for your entertainment
and your education.
For this episode, we are doing one huge spin for our lovely producer Dana Seda at Summerbox, hosted by Baraza Media Lab. We're doing a thankful walk, a sensual walk, on behalf of Pedo Brian, who composed our theme music.
You should even say Pedo Brian.
Pedo Brian. We'd like to lift up Kate Ladash in an aerial shoulder mount, which really hurts, actually. Don't do an aerial shoulder mount, for being our Yes Girl of the day.
Woo-hoo.
And we are dedicating striking a pose for Myelin for allowing us to use the Poles Apart studio for this training.
Thank you, Myelin.
And of course, we raise our arms up high to you, strike a pose, and do a spin, and all of that to all of you Yes Girls and boys, our friends and family, our supporters. We hold you in very high regard.
See you on the next episode of the Yes Girls Podcast, where Clara will be saying yes to being something that she pretty much despises. And despises is an understatement. It's something that she despises, but something that I'm completely obsessed with. And I would love to book a session of help for her. So stay tuned. And until next time, you've been listening to yet another episode of
The Yes Girls.
Girls.
Oh, yeah.